is international music icon, the great Tuface Idibia. He will be speaking seriously to everyone, so please everyone take your seats. Everyone please take your seats. Go.
But anyway, this is it's a serious matter, you know. It's a serious matter, and I'm going to try my best to, the best of my knowledge and, you know, my sit-down look position. I hope with these few points of mine, there are a variety of means for music artists to generate revenue off their work. This include like record sales, royalties, both mechanical and otherwise, publishing, licensing, performances, and touring, all of which are related to their music. And other means of revenue generation include merchandising, brand endorsements, and other engagement. However, due to the fractured nature of the Nigerian music industry, we're just restricted. We're just focusing only on one or two of this aspect, and we're forgetting about the rest. The good people at the Net NG have, given me the very, very heavy task of coming here today to deliver this speech. I'm very honored, to deliver this speech. Slaying the collective rights monster. So we'll be focusing on revenue accruable from the artist's work, the music. First of all, we should know what collective right management is. Collective right management is just simply the licensing of copyrights and related rights by organizations acting on. From that definition, the right owners will be music artists, songwriters, and producers, and seen as a subject pertaining to music, and the organizations acting on their behalf, are their collective societies. We all know the roles played by the right owners is to create the body of work, which is then like the asset or intellectual property. And the rights collection organizations are vested with the responsibility of granting rights to the use of the body of work. That's the rights of public performance, that's music played or performed in discotheques, clubs, restaurants, and other public places. And the rights of broadcasting, live recorded performances on radio, television, mechanical production rights in musical works, that's the production of works on CDs, DVDs, and all that, and performing rights in dramatic works, theater plays and all, and the right of reprographing the production of literary and musical works. You should now big English is just photocopy, So all these rights are what the collective society, protects. They're the people that, actually, in fact, go to proceed. And all this fall under economic rights. There is also the moral rights, which is the right of the owner of a musical work to refuse for somebody to use their work, depending on for whatever reason, but there's that right for somebody to refuse somebody to use their works and all, And what is the collective rights monster? From the little that I know, and I've learned from research, and just research and engaging with a few people and rubbing minds. The monster is more of a thing than a person. I've listed below some of the common characteristics of the monster. I'll start by the first monster. Is the mindset that music is free. So many people, unfortunately, in this country, believe I mean, they don't even want to hear you say pay for using this music. It sounds like a lot of active music users today, they grew up in the era of sharing, copying CDs, downloading stuff for free from, so they believe that music is free. Most of the music consumers, even the ones that spend hours, in the studio, even artists that spend hours paying producer, paying studio session, doing all that, they still don't understand the value of their music, Some of them even go as far as paying people in Alaba to put their music on a CD, because they think it will take the music to higher, rights owners need to work 4 times harder, to actually propagate the fact that, their music is not free, it has value. Only in Nigeria you buy an empty CD for 500 naira, but once you put something on it, once you put music on it, it becomes 150 naira. So an empty CD has more value than CD with a full album on it in Nigeria. So it's crazy. That's why some years ago, I sold my CD for 1,000 naira just to prove a point. Just to prove a point that, at least music has value. Somebody that wants to, if you believe in an artist and you believe in the artist enough to buy the CD, there should be that respect for value, for intellectual property. Also commercial users, particularly within the broadcast sector, they believe that they are doing, the right owners a favor. They believe that they are doing the artists, a favor, by deploying their intellectual property. And this is crazy, because many times they think that the industry owes them for supporting the arts. The truth, while they do support, they support, but the right owners should realize that the content form the basis for all these broadcast stations to operate. Majority of why people tune into broadcast stations is for the entertainment, and that's like the raw material for all these organizations, and sometimes it's unfortunate that some of these media houses play God, expecting to be worshipped, and they will not even hold a conversation about royalty payment. They don't even want to hear about it, they don't want to hear about it, but most of the stations, they still pay. They pay salaries, they pay for diesel, they pay on-air personalities, they pay DJs that play people's music, but when it comes to the music itself, it's a very, very difficult concept to grasp. Say, oh, why would they pay for this music? Will they promote them? Will they support them? But many of these people, they know, they're civilized, they know how this thing happens all around the world. Nigeria is the only exception right now. It's just crazy. Wow. But like, some of us are very fortunate to have many shows. There's some artists that, they're just coming up, they don't really get so many shows or so many endorsements and all that. So they can easily be blackmailed by media houses. And in fact, that's one of the major monsters right now. And I hope that, after today, so many people will realize a whole lot of what's going down in that lane. And there's a category of users who know that royalty payment is standard. But these people are the most dangerous, because these people, they will hang on to any excuse to avoid doing the needful. They will hang on to any excuse to not to pay for royalties, because they know that somehow they can get away with it. Most of these people are, they've done enough business locally and internationally to know that they should, by law, pay a token. It's just a small amount of money, for rights usage, truth be told, we have been put in this position by CMOs and operators. You know, CMOs are, you know, the collective society. You know, we have been put in this position, you know, by CMOs and operators for years. You know, they have not been able to articulate a response that puts the industry first. You know, the response has always been about individual. You know, when this topic comes down, the topic of paying for intellectual property, whenever it comes down, the excuse most of the time is oh, our overhead, our this, our that. You know, and that's crazy. You know, so at the end of the day, most of the time, it's just like you want to make chocolates, but you don't want to pay for cocoa. You know, you want to do stuff, but you don't want to pay for the raw material to do that stuff. You know, and that's crazy. You know, but thankfully, starting from, you know, World Music Day on the 1st of September 2009, a few well-meaning industry practitioners were able to start the process for change. Shortly afterwards, music bodies, you know, which had not seen eye to eye, you know, formed the Nigerian Music Coalition and sponsored a bid to register one collective society. It is on record that, you know, approach was made to a whole lot of people. Approach was made to MCSN, PMRS, both legally registered collective societies at the time, you know, to form one body that will collect on behalf of rights owners. You know, but unfortunately, the board of MCSN, you know, they declined to join. They declined to join, you know, COSON. COSON includes, you know, PMAN, NARI, Moran, AmbiPro, Mulone, PMRS, and several other music, you know, bodies. And it was registered by the NCC in 2010. So right now, you see, that's the only registered CMO in Nigeria. That's by law, like right now, you know. The problem of collective rights management in Nigeria has multiple layers, and at the bottom, you know, the major issue is the issue of ignorance. You know, lack of understanding of what this is all about. You know, artists and music executive, they have to take time out to learn and, you know, educate themselves, you know, on the subject so as to understand exactly what they are getting into. You know, so because most of the time it's what people base their debate on is hearsay. You know, it's what they hear from this person or what they hear from the other person. And it's always crazy. You know, on another level, some might argue that there is nothing wrong with having multiple CMOs. But then again, how has multiple CMOs impacted the subject of royalties and the owners of intellectual property in Nigeria? One thing is for sure, having more than one CMO operating within the industry has not helped further our cause as right owners so far. You know, because being a developing nation, everyone is busy looking out for their own interest. You know, the law clearly states that Nigeria will at this time have only one society taxed with, you know, collective management. And that is, right now, is COSON. That's the simple truth right now. You know, it's COSON. You know, Section 39 of the Copyright Act, 2004, provides at subsection. You know, Section 39 of the Copyright Act, 2004, provides, you know, at subsection 1 as follows. A collecting society, in this section referred to as a society, may be formed in respect of any one or more rights of copyright owners for the benefit of such owners. And the society may apply to the Commission for the approval to operate as a collecting society for the purpose of this act. It further provides in subsection 4 that it shall be unlawful for any group of persons to purport to perform the duties of a society without the approval of the Commission as required under this section of this act. You know, the Copyright Act identifies the NCC as the government body responsible for monitoring and controlling the collection of royalty. The combined effect of this provision is that the approval by the Nigerian Copyright Commission is a prerequisite to the operation of any society performing or desirous of performing the functions of a collective society. So to this end, if the NCC, in accordance with the provision of the Copyright Act, the other organizations coming together, you know, with this organization as one, you know, in this case, COSO now, you know, so that, I mean, come together as one to achieve the collective goal, which is to see the rights users pay the rights owners for the exploitation of their works. You know, the lack of compromise by so many organizations to put the interest of collective ahead of their individual interest is killing, you know, is killing things, you know, it's providing an excuse for right users not to pay royalties, you know, to right owners. You know, the biggest users of rights, you know, I mean, obviously are broadcasting, is the broadcasting sector, you know, and the refusal of organizations within this sector to pay royalties on the use of rights, you know, it's not today. It dates back to as far as the 70s, you know. One time it put the broadcasters at, you know, and, you know, the late Abami Edda, Fela Nicola Pokuti, he put them on a collision course when he said, if you don't pay, don't play my music. You know, I mean, he was one of the few people that really started this fight back in the day. I mean, many people are aware of this, you know, and that was before the excuse of non-compliance, you know, became a situation right here, right now. Not too long ago, Born and IBAN, the bodies representing broadcasters, you know, it was so unfortunate that, you know, they placed the ban of music from artists represented by COSO, you know, and I think that was all in a bit to twist, you know, including myself, you know, to twist all of us into giving up our rights, you know, to earn from exploitation of our works, you know. But thankfully, the NBC has since waded in, and I've been informed that, you know, progress has been made towards a resolution, which, you know, we hope will lead to, you know, bigger and better things to happen in the future of the Nigerian music industry. You know, it is apparent now that the biggest problem hindering the smooth operation of collective rights in Nigeria is our individualistic nature, you know, where everyone is looking out for personal interest while neglecting the interest of the entire industry. You know, it's a big problem. You know, if we can put our individual interests aside, it won't be hard to figure out, you know, how to make rights collection in Nigeria to work. You know, for the sake of enlightenment, the following are some of the conditions for setting up and operating a CMO in Nigeria as contained in the Copyright Act. Let me just take your time on this one small. One, so permit me to a few things that I think, you know, going by the analogy, you know, that has been handed to me, the first thing to do would be to arm ourselves. You know, a monster is in our compound and it's intent on, you know, destroying our property and scattering the whole place. You know, but we cannot welcome that monster with open arms. We also have to arm ourselves. You know, in real terms, like all rights owners, you know, they need to arm themselves properly, because only then we can see clearly. 2014 is not the time for he said, she said, or, you know, one be apologist. You know, we need to be able to protect ourselves and our wealth and our intellectual property. You know, so ammunition in this case is, the major ammunition in this case is getting an education. You know, read up on what constitutes your rights. Try to get to know exactly what your rights are. Try to get to know exactly, you know, what you're up against. You know, do not rely all your arguments on hearsay, because we know how intriguing it is. Different people will come out with their own version of the story, you know, and then people will start fighting war on Twitter on, they will start just talking without actually doing research to really know exactly what this is all about. Even as I'm talking now, don't even believe what I'm saying. If you live here, you can still go and do your research and try to get to know exactly what, the copyright issue is all about. So that at least we can, once we are all on the same page on that, we can now move forward in discussion. And by that time, everybody will know, who is playing pranks, who is playing tricks, and who is willing to solve the problem, and who is not willing to solve the problem. Because like we cannot just sit, and think that this problem is going to be solved. We have to stand up, occupy Nigeria type of situation. In this copyright fight. If we see that, even the approved CMO, if we see that they are not doing well enough, we would also rise up and challenge them. They have to be transparent as well. All hands need to be on deck. All hands need to be on deck to make sure it works this time around. COSOL is a single collecting society recognized by law of this land. The body needs to do its job satisfactorily and ensure that all its awards are well taken care of and protected. It is also important to ensure accountability in all their dealings. The NCC holds the responsibility of enforcement of laws, as it is in the Constitution. In addition, the government body needs to be updated, on the best present-day standards, which will in turn ensure that the interests of right owners are adequately protected. The NBC needs to ensure compliance by radio and TV. No media house or, anybody that's supposed to pay for intellectual property. Nobody should, be above the law. Nobody should be above so the NCC should ensure compliance by all the people that are supposed to pay. The IP owners need to be enlightened, and actively involved in building the structure to make things right. The issue of logging, cataloging the times of airplay, thank God we have technology now, so I don't think that should be a problem. Everybody should be able to catalog whose music was played the most, whose movie was, catalog, so that, the collecting society will be able to distribute money fairly, to deserving artists. Because what is happening now is because there's no proper logging, the collecting society collects the money and they just do a bulk spread, without any proper, so some people feel cheated, say, my music they play pass, I come at the same thing and they collect, but right now, that's the situation on ground. But with technology on our side, I think that, that shouldn't be an issue. A world-class, collective society, collective management system will not fall on our laps. It will not fall on our laps. So all stakeholders, everybody should actively be involved. And the monster is out there. We all know there's a big problem. There's a massive, a very serious problem in the copyright administration in Nigeria. And I'm just praying that all stakeholders, everybody that's supposed to do what is needed, what is right, we should stop this delay tactics. And because many times, these people, they find themselves PMRS with MCA, I don't know who I will collect from, I don't know who I will pay to. All that has been excuse for so many people not to pay, for intellectual property. But I think right now, there's a clear roadmap, and I think everybody should come on deck and make this thing happen. It's crazy. I know the panelists are going to elaborate more on this. For me, like I said earlier, I'm not too good at making speeches. So I think I've tried my possible best to
to express what I feel. And I hope you understood me to some extent. I hope you understood this to some extent. And I know the panelists are going to do a greater job at tearing down the different bits and pieces of this topic, slaying the copyright monster. So for all of us, the major thing is we need to get enlightened. We need to rise from the ignorant state of mind that most of us are in right now. And know exactly what you are getting yourself involved in. So thank you so much, man. One love.
Thank you very much, Tuface.